My battery is down, I guess. You all come in, hit that like and share button, and let me know how the sound is. I did get another cord for my microphone. So hopefully that sound is a little better. My old cord had a shortage in it, and wanted to come back tonight. If you can look at this book, it has a lot of earmarks, notes with the yellow sticky notes. And I stayed up till maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, Listened to some videos, did some theory because a lot of well, not did some theory, but a lot of people may refer to this as conspiracy theory. So I did some thought, right? Um, and some thought. Reread this book. I haven't read this book in maybe 3 years, right? Had a conversation with a friend, a tax person, CPA. Okay, now my pendulum's moving a little bit. I think I need to definitely get some more batteries, but my 1111 is not showing. That's okay. Not for this live stream. It won't show. I don't feel like adjusting the camera. But at any rate, I I had a good amount of people to show up on the live stream yesterday, and the conversation was the straw man, right? Your name in all caps. And as I do this live stream, I have a credit card statement, right, for my daughter. And it's from Amex. It's the Amex Gold card. And I know you can't see it because of the glare, but it is in her LLC name, right? It's in her LLC name. It's something I did not know or, well, until she got, well, first of all, when she got to the age of 18, when she can legally have credit reporting under her profile, I had her as authorized users on my credit card because I gave her, not wanted to, I gave her a head start on having good credit. So as soon as she was at that age where she can have a credit profile, her credit score was over 750. So I knew all of this information about adding her as an authorized user, passing on generational wealth and generational good credit because I did credit repair. And I did not want to put my daughter in a situation that some parents put their children in, such as getting utility bills, right, that were not paid as agreed in their child's name because their credit was so bad. And now, when their child is 18, 19, 20, 21, I'm helping them to get that derogatory account removed. Right? I knew that those were habits I did not want to pass on to my daughter. And so when she became 18, she inherited, as being an authorized user on my credit, she inherited my credit, my good credit behaviors. And so I had a very good reason and incentive for um, being as, responsible in a good way with my credit as I could because I didn't want her to inherit any of my bad credit behavior, right? And I also taught her about credit. Once I learned about credit, I began to teach her about credit. And so I purchased this book, as I said yesterday, that is about give yourself credit. Money does not grow on trees. And I thought this was going to be a book about credit repair to assist me to become a better credit repair because I used to help people in 2018, 2019, 2020 to get negative items off of their credit. And so, but this book opened up a whole nother world to me about credit, right? That are we a straw man? I looked at my social security card today. I looked at the red numbers on the back of that card. I wondered what do these numbers mean? Um, and then some people say, well, listen, they have your name in all caps just because it helps to reduce any typo errors. Just writing or typing in all caps. If you're typing in all caps and the caps are on, you know, That's some other people's philosophy. But we're going to break this down. We're going to dissect it. And I'm going to share the clip with you all again from Damon Wilson, also known as Lamont Sanford. My friend guy asked me last night. I said, "Why do you smile when you say Lamont Sanford?" I don't know. Maybe because I love Sanford and Son. I still watch Sanford and Son. Um, binge when I binge watching on the weekend. Sanford and Son is in my rotation. Anything that makes me laugh and give me a relaxed state of mind, because that's the only reason why I watch television for the most part. And so with credit, but this is what I'm going to break down as we watch these, you all. This is another platinum American Express card, right? Platinum in business name. That's in all caps. Platinum, and these are just a stack of my credit cards um, that I have, and I'm going to also teach about this as well at the end of this, towards the end of this live stream, because these are my business partners. These are my business partners. I smile when I say that as well. Let me say it again for the people in the nosebleed seats. These are my business partners. These are not my emergency funds or account. These are not to finance trips that I cannot afford to take to go on vacation. That's not what this is for. This is not to go on shopping sprees. It's not my business. These are my business partners. They go out and get assets for me, things that make me more money. That's their only purpose in life. That's the partnership agreement we have together. We use this and for tax write-offs to keep accurate records of things that I can get my tax professional at the end of the year to write off taxes with, and to get rewards, also to create cash flow for me, to get rewards back, because if I use this just as I would a debit card, a lot of these pay cash back. The only purpose, right? And so this is not my emergency account, and this is not my account to make up for money I don't have. That's not the purpose of this. And so I think I gave you all the testimony that when I graduated college, I got a Discover credit card from college, right? When you get on college campus, they're going to offer you credit cards offer. So I got Discover, and guess what? I discovered that I could use Discover credit card to get assets. I used that Discover credit card. Number one, as you can see, I did not return this as promised, but this 2003 educational, and the offer was that I could purchase this for 30 days, and if I didn't like it, it was a whole curriculum that I could return it, and there was no charge to me, right? So I did not have the money. I'm out of college. I don't have a job. I did not have a job, and I get this whole curriculum set, carton sheets, no money down. I don't even know if this probably should not be in rotation now or available. So this is definitely a classic. And I returned everything and got credit back because I did have that Discover credit card. I forgot to return these, but that's okay because now I have some evidence of my story. So these are 12 CDs. And chapter 4, for example, it talks about thinking and acting creatively, right? Developing your creativity, practicing creativity as well. And the other, so when you invest, you have to have a creative mind in making an offer negotiation. Now, I know some of you all may say, well, Queen, why are you talking about credit cards and business partners and getting assets and things with credit? Well, again, that's the title of this book, and we're going to go into the straw man. Because some people that I talk to, their philosophy is, I want to be a straw man. I want to know if this information is real. I want to be able to cancel out my debts. in the United States using my birth certificate and or my social security card. And we're going to talk about this as I read this book. But I have a different, I wouldn't want to be a straw man. I'll tell you why. But, we're going to go on. I would not want that life when I can just not operate under my social security and make myself a different corporation if the United States have incorporated me under my birth certificate and social security card. So let's listen in. Again, this is Lamont Sanford. And his real name is Damon Wilson. Oh, hold up, I think I'm showing you all the wrong screen. You all hit the thumbs up so we can invite more people in and satisfy the YouTube algorithm by hitting the thumbs up, whether you are watching this live or on the replay. So this is his interview, and we're going to replay this. And Sanford and Son, Red Fox, right? And this is his opinion about, are you a straw man? Is your birth certificate worth millions? Is that fact or is it fiction? Fiction.
Conversation, but I feel like you'll be the best person for this question right here. Is there a ritual attached to seeing Black men in dresses when it comes to, I know it started around Flip Wilson time and probably before then. What's the ritual that's happening?
I told you now, listen, remember what Granddaddy told you when I first sat down here about Norman Lear?
Sure.
The dissolution of the patriarchal system. Now you got all these guys, they take your humanity from you. You know how the feminist movement has categorized men. I think that what was his name? Samuels. He just died recently. Had the podcast. There was the women hated. Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels, yes.
Kevin Samuels was eliminated because they didn't want to go back to that. They want these women ignorant and twerking. They want kids running around the street. If they don't pay the income tax, they put them in the penitentiary and they get their money out of them that way. It's like I said, we live in a matrix. Your driver's license, if you take it out of your wallet, it has your name in capital letters. Your birth certificate, your passport, name is in capital letters. Black people don't question that. That means that there's two yous. There's you, the person, and you, the corporation. And you, the corporation, is going to pay America. Presidents have no power, and voting doesn't put a man in any office. They're placed there to do a certain job. They have an agenda that they have to adhere to. So running to the polls is not going to matter. They want people like they are right now, polarized. The difference between Biden and Trump is that one is the flip side of the other. And they got the people running back and forth, back and forth. They got all kinds of genocidal things taking place. That Bill Gates said it. We got to do away with 3 billion people. He's been doing it in Africa, been doing it in India. And Black people running to the poll talking about, we got to vote in, got to get someone, get him in there, change everything. It's nothing going to change, and it's not going to go back. When I wrote The New Age Millennium 26 years ago, I spoke about everything that's going on now. Now, you can call me a sage, you can call me a prophet, you can call me Negrodamus, whatever you want to call me, but all of the stuff in the book is everything that's happening now. Now, Black people laughed at me. They said, what does Martin know about that? That's conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy, but it ain't no theory. And now they're scrambling, running back and forth, fighting each other. I said, this is not a gender war. It's not a political war. It is a spiritual warfare. People better wake up. This ain't going back. It ain't going back no place. It doesn't matter who sits in the Oval Office. Presidents have no power. They can only do what they're told to do. The educational system, I spoke about it before. The Rockefellers bought the educational system at the turn of the century. And they said, we're going to put curriculums in there to teach people how to be minions, servants of us. That's what the whole thing was about. Kids that go to prep school, private prep school, they go to Harvard and Yale and Oxford, don't have the same education that people go to HMCU universities have.
So in conclusion.
Okay, HBCU. So he said a mouthful, that one there. So the people that's tuned in, if you're watching this on a replay, this is a live stream. So I want engagement on this because there's two opinions. That number one, this is not real, right? There's opinion that, hey, your name being in all caps on your statements. And first of all, let's start with that. Why is bills called bills? When you receive a debt in the mail to pay a corporation, we're gonna talk about that. Why is that called a bill and not a statement? Why is cash called the same thing? Why is cash called the same thing, a bill, as if you receive a piece of paper in the mail that asks you to pay a corporation some money, whether it's your light bill, water bill, right? And why is one considered a debt that you owe and the other considered money that you make? Could it be that both of them are debts? Could that be why both are called bills and not just a statement in the mail? So let's see. When you receive a bill from a corporation, it is not really a bill. It is a check that you can turn into a money order. And this is per House Joint Resolution 192, June 5th, 1933. Since 1933. And what happened in 1933 was the Great Depression, right? So the people that's live, I want you all to engage like Paulette is doing in the comment section. I want this to be a conversation, right? As if you was right here in my living room with me. And so payment of debt is now against Congress public policy. Therefore, every debt obligation must be discharged. We are creditors of the United States because the United States went bankrupt in 1933. This is what caused the Great Depression. So we can turn any debt instrument into a credit instrument with which we pay our debts with our signature. FRN, Federal Reserve Notes, also called cash, also known as cash, are debt instruments. You cannot pay a debt with the debt, right? So if you owe me $10 and then I give you $10, so if I owe you money, that I'm in your indebtedness, right? But if I attempt to pay you with a note that's a debt, you can't cancel out a debt with the debt. So let me say it this way. If you get a bill in the mail, that's a debt. You're not supposed to be able to cancel out one bill with this bill that's also a debt. Does that make sense? Because this is debt. This is debt. And so Federal Reserve notes, we generate cash, money, reserved by the energy of our labor. We can discharge our debt with our credit sign, our signature, backed by future commercial energy. It's called working that we produce. Now, the reason why I'm going over this is because I choose not to try to get myself out of the government system. Even if I believe this is true and accurate, some people don't. But I believe this is true and accurate. The reason why I would not want to be a straw man or to get out the government system is because, number one, even though our social security, see, the social security number was created, I think, in the 1940s in order to adequately pay people their social security income. It was not created to give you credit. That was not the purpose of it. It was created so people can get paid their social security income. It was not created so you can go and apply for a credit card like I just showed you. So if you can apply for a credit card, that means you must be credited. And I tell people all the time, I don't know why people, when I do numbers, they say, oh, that's not biblical. That's not Bible. Well, it's a whole book in the Bible called Numbers, right? It's a whole book in the Bible called Numbers. Leviticus, yeah. That breaks down age of people and genealogy and all that. But now, you said they want us to owe until the day they put, well, you know what? That can be looked at different ways. Because I take my social and make myself a S corp and an LLC. I have two, and you can use that to get assets. It depends on how you use that. Now I don't know if you just came in. I can use these credit cards I have, and I can work to pay them off until the day that I get, like you said, they put us in the grave. Or I can. It's just like having a weapon. You can use it to protect you, or you can use it to harm you. It depends on how you use it. Or I can use these credit cards because I used the credit card to purchase my first flip house. $5,000 Discover credit card, straight from college. I used my credit card to get an asset. These credit card was gained under my social security number. See, I know you all thought there was going to be some type of live stream that I'm talking about, yeah, get away from the government. That's right. And I'm glad you said that because I have a blue ink pen right here. This blue ink pen I can use to create debt to get assets, or I can use it to continue to put myself in debt. Depends on my financial IQ, depends on if I make myself a corporation. Because once you get in that Strawman system, your social security card number can no longer be used in some cases to be gainfully employed. When you apply for a job, they have to have your social security card and number on file. So you may not be able to be gainfully employed. You may not be able to get medical service provided to you because you are no longer under the auspice of United States citizenship. You can't call the police and say, hey, I'm a sovereign citizen, and then expect them to protect you because you've taken yourself out of the legal laws of that system. See, if they can't write you a speeding ticket, you can't get that protection if you dial 911 as well. So you have to take on that burden to protect yourself, to live outside the system where you may not be gainfully employed in, to live like a pauper, to not get your Social Security benefits, even though it might not be much. See, this is how you got to think well-rounded about this, right? Okay, so again, and sovereign citizenship. Now, if you want to be a sovereign citizen, I want you to just come in and tell me why. So let me go on. After the stock market crash of 1929, United States, the close of 1929, 1930 went bankrupt. It affected millions of people and millions of businesses as well. They had to have the big city banks not been able to create money by ink marks on paper out of thin air. It has always been at such time that farmers have lost their farms and banks and insurance companies have become landlords. The amount of new dollars that can be put into circulation without prices increasing, it can't happen anyway. The danger of inflation, and I want you all to think about PPP loans that came out, stimulus. See, people want to be a sovereign citizen until they figure they're not going to get those big income tax returns that they want to get $6,000-$7,000. They want us in debt, yeah, but you get those big income tax return, and then you go out and misspend it. You don't. I don't. How can somebody get the most 3-4 figures at one time and they don't get one asset with it every year like clockwork? Every year. I've never understood that. And so the Bible talks about three things, talk about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And people want the knowledge of this. They don't want the understanding of what goes the whole big picture of sovereign citizenship. Right? They want the knowledge. Oh, Queen, my birth certificate. My bills are in all caps. There are red numbers on the back of my social security card. And that's great to have the knowledge. That's great to have the knowledge. However, could there be a better way that you can just take your social security number, make it a tax ID or EIN number, make yourself an LLC and an S corp, and totally not operate out of your social security number that way? Okay, let me go on. On April 15, 1933, President Roosevelt, he created what's called criminally penalties, $10,000 fine or 10 years imprisonment or both under Section 9. If a natural person may be in prison for more than 10 years if they own any gold certificates, not owned by them to a Federal Reserve branch or agency. So they made it illegal for people to own real money. But guess what? It is now legal for people to get real money in gold and silver. And most people don't know that's real money. So they never convert cash, which is fiat currency, into real commodities and real assets. Now this is more of a store of value, meaning that once you already have arrived, whatever your millionaire number is, a multimillionaire, a decamillionaire, you just put your cash into this because cash is it is an asset, but it's the lowest yielding asset that you can have. It's anything is an asset when you can go to the store and purchase food and water with it, and keep a roof over your head and food on your table and clothes on your back. Now let me read this. You never want to be a sovereign citizen. That's a trap and not the same as nationalization. Okay, so what's nationalization? And the real Don Juan, I'll let you expound on that and explain that as I show this video clip, because I want an engaging conversation behind this. I want, intellectuals to come in and comment.
So we're also on Instagram as well too, and all those links are down below in the description there. Okay, so the reason I had and if your name is Matthew F. Carberry, I do apologize. I just pulled this off of Google. So if you're watching this, I do apologize if you're on here. If your name is Matthew F. Carberry for real, we can remove this video, but I just want to use this for illustration purposes. Okay. So I don't own this photo. I just want to make sure I put that in there. I do not own this photo. I'm just using this for illustration purposes. So if you can see right there where I have it circled, you can see the name Matthew F. Carberry. Okay. And you can see that it's in all caps. So if you grab a statement of yours, a bill statement, any type of bill that you get in the mail, if you don't get anything in the mail, log into your online payment system and download one. And I guarantee you that is written in all caps. Well, that is not your name. That is your fictitious name that was made up for you on your birth certificate. And what that does is it made you a ward of the state until you became old enough not to become a ward of the state. So that is actually your corporation name, and that is also the name of your trust. So the only way, and then Ford is also a fictitious company, all right, because it's just Ford is either LLC or INC, and that's just a piece of paper. Ford is a company by a piece of paper. So as you can see there, it's not a person sending you this this statement, and it's a company, and company is a piece of paper. So, and a company can only communicate with another company. So what they're getting you to do is to believe that your name in all caps is you. They're trying to get you to represent what we call your straw man.
Okay, that's powerful what he just said. He said a company can only communicate and interact with another company. So this is a company like Ford Credit in all caps. No, it's not. No, it's not in all caps. They're sent payment to, but the creditor's name is in all caps. So a company can only communicate with another company, according to this clip that I'm showing, which makes you your straw man. Now let me read this real quick. The process is claiming your nationality, black, Negro, color, or misnomeners, not a nationality. Just like people are confused saying we are African American, you have the land and the bloodline. So technically, Elon Musk is African American. He was born in Africa, then became native to America. I'll read this. If you become a non-citizen national, you have the same right as a U.S. citizen. With all due respect, sovereign citizenship is no such thing. You're either sovereign or a citizen. You're neither both. Okay, I'm not trying to be either one of them. So I just want the opinions of people who that's what they want to be or are or striving to be. So I'm just taking all of your opinions and strive. So Pauletta and the Real Don, are either one of you a non-citizen? Or either one of you are a non-citizen? So I'll play this and wait on you all to answer. If you are or aren't, tell me why. If you have all this knowledge, tell me why aren't you, or why did you decide to do that? And if you decided to do that, national citizen, how is that working for you? How's your livelihood? If you can type that in the comments as well.
And do some research on your straw man. Your straw man is a fictitious thing that was made up in your name on your birth certificate. That's what your straw man is. Okay, it's a fictitious legal entity created with the hope that as a child grows up, he will be fooled into believing that he is actually the straw man, and the straw man is just a fictitious legal entity. So Ford is a legal entity, and Ford can only do business with another legal entity, which is that name right there in all caps. So that's what we talk about. When you receive this, just send it right back to them, okay? Because they're expecting to get the money from you, but they can get the money from your trust, because your trust is your trust is this name, well, not this name, but your name in all caps. So when you're sending that coupon back to them, you're sending it back to them, say, hey, get the money from my trust or whatever that fictitious legal entity is, because that's not me. And a lot of people don't realize this, so I'm making it known. Ford is a company. Also, the contract between you and Ford is a one-way contract, and only for a contract to work, there has to be 2 signatures on the contract. Okay, 2 signatures. I guarantee you, on any of your contracts, there's just one, because a company can't sign as a person. A company cannot. Ford can't sign as a person. So when you're talking to these individuals, like, hey, this contract is not complete because it doesn't have 2 signatures on it. It just has yours, right? Which means that there's really no debt. Now, will you have to fight back?
I'm gonna play the rest of that, but on that video, he explained there's really no debt because you're not talking to me. You're talking to my twin, per se, my created artificial person, the straw man, in all caps, right? So the artificial person was created by using our birth certificates as MCO, manufacturer certificate of origin, port of entry, the state in which we were born as its port of entry. This gave fictional government as artificial persons to deal with directly. This person is our mirror image, our straw man. Mirror image, straw man. Makes me think about the straw man in the Wizard of Oz that didn't have courage. Didn't have, was it courage, or who was looking for the heart in the Wizard of Oz? Couldn't think, right? Wizard of Oz. Somebody help me with the straw man issue. And so your real living person is your name without caps in it. And your fictitious person is the deceased man, the deceased person, as your straw man. It does not identify real living people, all caps, right? The rules of grammar for English language have no provisions for abbreviation of people name. Initials are not used. Anything else is not correct. We were never told with full or open disclosure what our government officials were planning to do and why. We were never told that the United States government is a corporation, a fictitious person as well. We were never told that our government had quietly and secretly created a fictional shadow. And it makes me, think sometimes when you hear children say they're afraid of their shadow, sometimes. Or you see the cartoons where the shadow is evil, right? Or your alter ego, as people of elite status, like Beyonce, right? Beyonce name for her alter ego is what, Queen B? Is that it? You all, she has another person, Kobe. I know I got Kobe right. His alter ego, his other person was Mamba. That's the other person that was in two within one. And so Wizard of Oz has a lot of gems. It does, and Wizard of Oz has a lot of gems, even about the monetary system as well. Yep. The straw man fallacy is paper, us, and I'm in the process. I'm in the process of severing our contract with the union. Okay, good deal. And so we were never told that when our government deals with our straw man, it is not dealing with us, the real living people. We were never told openly and clearly with full disclosure of all the facts that we have been unable to pay our debts in this United States since June 5th, 1933. Now, the reason why I'm discussing this is because I'm letting people know that we are about to experience 1933 again in 2024. In 1933, the financial system was changed from this being real money Well, it still is real money. It's the only real money, God's money. But from this being accepted as money in commerce to this, a note, an IOU to pay you the debt later, being accepted as cash. So as money in commerce. So now, I don't care, and I'm saying this, I'm not, I'm glad that you all are. But even if your nationality or you're a national as a more, if you don't understand this monetary system is changing, you can still be debt free, but you won't. That doesn't equate to you being financial free. If that's your main goal or objective, right? A homeless person does not use their social security number for anything. You can take a homeless person and get them thousands of credit because their social security number is free and clear. Because it's easier, getting rich is easier than staying poor. And I don't want to put my mindset on just being debt free, just getting out of debt. No, no, no. My mindset is using debt, this debt instrument, to get real assets in my life. Now, some people might just want it because when you get out of debt, you get out of the dollar because the dollar is debt. Let me say that again. When you are trying to get out of debt, you are getting out of this because this is debt. We were never told we were being treated as property, as indentured servants. While living in the land of the free, we can easily walk away from the fraud. Everything since June 1933 operates in commerce. Why is that important? Because commerce is based off contracts, just what the video just explained. It has an implied contract with the strawman, the government's creation, where the strawman is subject to the government's rule. So the fictional government can only function in a fictional commercial world where there is no real money, people. Only fictional funds, merely entries and figures. I've known people that went to the bank and asked to get what their statement said they had in there, and the bank told them, we don't have that money in here. It's going to take some days. Or they asked them a series of questions about, okay, where do you work? What do you do for a living? Can you provide your proof of identity? They didn't ask those questions when they were depositing the money, right? They ask you that if you try to withdraw, especially over $10,000 at one time. So what if we use the system ourselves instead? Without your consent, you are not the fictional domain unless you volunteer to be. Let me say that again. Unless you volunteer to be. See, gold coins, gold, silver, gold is for king, silver is for queen. Gold has always been the money of the rich. Every dollar in circulation today is an interest-bearing debt created by the government by selling interest-bearing IOUs to the private non-federal bank. This is why bank buildings are the biggest buildings in the town or city. They could simply issue its money debt-free instead of borrowing it from the Federal Reserve Bank. Because all of our money is created by banks lending money and out of thin air to people. In our debt money system, someone has to borrow every dollar in circulation. I want you all to know that. So every time you pay your mortgage, if your mortgage is $1,500 a month, and I'm going to talk about mortgage debt as well. Every time you pay it, you have just 10 times the bank ability to go borrow more money from the Fed. You just increase every time your paycheck is deposited in the bank. The only money I keep in the bank is the money I need for my essential items. Other than that, my money is working for me all the time. right? Someone said banks don't lend money, we give them money. They only want us to view money as paper or numbers. Oh, that was a mic drop. Why they have the real assets. See, the bank is really making about 1,000% interest. If you deposit $100, for example, right? $100. The bank is really making about 1,000% interest on that simple deposit. $100 at 5% is $105. So you multiply that 10 more $100 loans, which is 1,050% interest. All of our money is created by banks lending money out of air, created out of air to people, companies, or to the government, while the government can simply issue its money debt free itself instead of borrowing money from the Federal Reserve Bank. So now we get into the money issue, right? And see, income tax was not created until 1609, right? The 16th Amendment establishing the income tax was proposed and supposedly ratified in February 1913. The income tax was a condition precedent for a fiat currency system. Between 1909 and 1913, the plan proposed central bank took shape in Federal Reserve Act, establishing a non-federal reserve system of banks in December 23rd, 1913. Now, to pay a debt, you must pay the value with substance of gold or a commodity. Now, let me put this book down real quick and look in the camera when I say this. Right. And you all listen real close. Tithing to God in the Bible was done through commodities. Read it, the tithe. The Malachi scripture, when she was talking to the Israelites, anyway, he made a covenant with them. He said, I'm going to give you our land. And what I want you to do with this land is take 10% and take it to the storehouse so there can be meat in my house. You tithe to God, so you can get commodity, you can harvest commodities on earth. Let me say that again for the people in the back pews. You tithe to God so you can harvest, right? You reap what you sow. Commodities on earth. God always wanted the fattest lamb, Cain and Abel. Give me the best offering. A blood offering with animals, agriculture, crops, gold, silver, commodities. God always wanted his creations back. So his people, which is also his creation, will not suffer hunger, anything. You tie to the government in form of taxes. That's why the scripture said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. What that scripture was talking about, taxes, and give to God what belongs to God, commodities. That's why Jesus was always fishing. That's why when the child that had the 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, God was able to multiply. Those were commodity, that was food. So let's talk about why people really want to use this route to get out of debt. Use this route. They don't really care about the bond money of their Social Security. I'm saying most people. I know I have some people that have told me that this is the process. They want to get out because they're tired of the pressure of debt, because they don't understand our monetary system in most cases. They're tired of the pressure of debt because they don't understand the monetary system. And they want out. And they figure they can chase this rainbow or unicorn versus just knowing how to do it under an LLC or a corporation. So in 1971, the dollar became debt because President Nixon removed the dollar from being able to convert it for other countries because United States citizens still can't convert dollars. Well, we can. All you gotta do is take your cash money and buy silver, invest in silver and gold, right? Most people don't because they don't know this real money. But that's especially important to know now because we're going through a financial system reset, and gold and silver is going to be used to reset this currency system. So why would you hold on to something that's about to be cash, that's about to be done away with? And we're going to digital currency. So from 1971, President Nixon stopped the convertibility because Spain was on its way to the United States in his warship with a boatload of United States cash. It said this cash is worthless. We don't want it. That's why the BRICS nation right now is saying cash is worthless. We don't want your cash. That's why China and federal banks is stockpiling gold. Now, Dave Ramsey teaches that gold is not money, it's a commodity. But if gold is not money, why do federal banks hoard it? Why do banks want it? So in 2021, the dollar became debtless. See, people, you trying to get out of debt. When you get out of debt, that means you're getting out of dollars because the dollar is dead. The dollar printed from year 2021. I want you to look at it. And they don't have 1971 on this chart. The second, since 1971, 2012, it's 386. But from the 50-year time span from 1971 was printed the third highest time in history. Only 2012 and 2013 were the highest. So the value of the United States dollar is, and this is in billions, people. I forgot to tell you that. It's 319 billions worth of US dollar. So that's simply supply. Well, yeah, supply and demand. The more that you put out in the economy, it's not supply and demand. What am I trying to think of? It'll come to me. But the more something is distributed, the less value it is. I say it that way. That's the only way I can think of. What is rare? What is hard to attain? What has a cutoff circulation supply? That's what made Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is having a halving, meaning the amount of Bitcoins available to the public is not going to be available. That's what made things rare, scarcity. Because I'm trying to get you all to open up your eyes and see that this is going to be bigger than 1933 when they changed from gold to cash. Because now we're changing from cash to digital. Because this is the real reason why people want to be sovereign, most of them. Albert Einstein said it this way. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pay it. Let me say that again for the people in the nosebleed seats. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. See, compound interest is great when you're investing, when your money is making money and is compounding. That was what Matthew 25 was about. When a man hid his money in the ground, and the master came back and he said, "You are a harsh servant." And I was afraid. I went hid your money. He said, "You knew I was harsh. You know I reap where I don't sow." See, compound interest, your money's making money. You're not working for that. You reap what you don't sow. Albert Einstein also said this. The hardest thing to understand is income tax. In the world is income tax. I had to go today to get my vehicle tags. And the lady said, she said, oh, we've been so busy today. I'm so tired. And I said, I see that you all are busy. I had to go and get some notarized. So I just went ahead and got my tags while I was there. She said, this is tax time. And people are getting their tags and paying their taxes. I said, I see why that quote is 2 things in life are certain. Now, you might get out of debt. You're not going to get out of paying taxes. You're not going to, you might be in a low tax bracket. Now, me personally, I just put myself in a foreign trust. You might get out of debt, but you're not getting out of taxes. I promise you that. You're not, 2 things in life is certain in this life: death and taxes. You get taxed when you spend money, when you earn that money. You get taxed when you die. You get taxed when you die. You got to pay taxes on you. You get taxed when you earn, spend. And I was telling the lady, I said, we get taxed if you work a job, every paycheck. And then at the end of the year, you have to pay W-4 on the money that you was already taxed on throughout the year anyway. Yeah, your burial is going to be taxed for them to bury you. Somebody says, what my friend, and he said, they just want us to be in debt till but if you don't learn this tax game. Well, Queen, what this got to do with national? Because this is why most people want to out. The pressure of not having financial education. I'm worth millions of dollars in my birth certificate, and I got to pay this bill. Yeah. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. And yes, mortgage root word is death pledge. Let's get right into mortgage. Because the other thing people need to understand is the difference between compounding interest and simple interest, revolving credit and installment credit. Can't you tell I did credit repair? Mortgage, Latin, mortier. Death pledge, from Old French. So you say, well, Queen, I want a house. I want somewhere nice and comfortable to live. Right? So what did I do? So you mean tell me you're going to discharge, you're going to get a house under your social security number now, right? Let's not leave that out. That social security number that you want to get out the system. Because you might not have that cash up front, that debt to pay for it straight up, right? So you're going to apply for a house under contract with both more than your signature. And you're going to leverage the human resource, the commodity through your 9 digits that was assigned to you by this government that you wanted out of. But most people don't understand that credit card. I talked about my business partners on my credit card, how credit card interest is calculated. So we're going to do this. Let's say, and I'm going to do $5,000 because this, you have a $5,000 balance on your credit card. APR is annual. I'm telling you, I did credit repair. I know this. Nobody told me that. I know this firsthand. People don't know this information. Their annual PR listed on their statement. Let's just say it's 16.99%. I'm going to give you a low one because I've always had 0% interest rate on my credit cards, and I've always leveraged in that way. But I'm going to do 7%, and it's a 30-day billing cycle, 28 to 30 days, $5,000 balance. So your interest charge would be roughly $30 at 7%, right? Let's go to 5%. That's only $20. Every 30 days, it's like $20, which is roughly $240, $50 a year. Now, credit card is revolving credit as well, which means when you pay it off, it'll revolve and you can keep using it over and over again. And if you use it the right way, credit cards don't mind being used. If you use them to get assets, things that put money in your pocket and not liability, things that take money. Again, my credit cards are my business partners, right? Now, and so when people buy a house, though, including me, all I looked at was 3% interest rate. Wow, that's cheap. That's what I was thinking. That's cheap because my credit card is 14%. It wasn't, but I'm just ad-libbing for some people who may have that. And so, I'll read this later. I want to get off topic. I agree with you, Real Don. I'll read that out loud in a minute, but I will keep that up. So people look at, wow, 3% interest rate. And some people even during this housing boom, when they could have, I put 2.5%. They were so happy about that 2.5%. 2.5. Oh, wow. They didn't look at that up front. The house was $40,000 overcharged, though. They just look at the interest rate. A mortgage death plague interest rates calculates different than simple interest from a credit card. A mortgage interest rate is upfront interest that must be paid. It's already calculated in. See, with your credit card, it is calculated in according to the balance. You pay the balance down, the lower your interest rate for the next month can be. Once you pay toward the principal is the amount you borrow. So let's say you got a $200,000 house that you got with your social security number. Yeah, that mark of the beast we're talking about. And you decide to go for 30 years because you told yourself that I'm going to pay this down fast. Look, when you make that first payment year one, had your interest already calculated in is roughly $5,000 upfront. You're paying 70% of principal monthly, and the other 30% is on the interest that's put in upfront. And guess what? That 2.5% makes you pay big dollars every month. So most people get out of mortgage death plague in 6 years or they refinance, right? So on a $200,000 loan, you're going to pay back $284,000 because $84,000 of that on 2.5% is interest. Because the interest in a vehicle and credit cards, simple versus compound. So the banks know this. See, they make compound interest out mortgages. But if you took that same mindset and said, I'm going to invest this money, right? And I'm going to be the bank and become the bank and become a corporation, a LLC or S corp, and do business under my tax ID or EIN number. Now your money can put in compounding interest where every day your money is making money. So you're not just focused on the poverty side of it. Your vibration is not so low that all I want to do is get out of debt. If that's what you want to do, you need to watch Dave Ramsey channel. I want to use that to get assets and have continuity cash flow. I'm going to leverage my SSN and create an EIN and tax ID to get the real assets. Let's see. Read comments. Yes, America is a physical land. United States is a corporation. USA is a corporation. A business, they play games to keep. No, they may play games to keep you messed up. See, I'm like Monopoly. Once you know the rules of the game. See, even Monopoly teach you that if you don't get assets, you won't be in that game long. If you don't land on some property, if you don't buy some property. But see, that's what people do. They go to work every day and they don't ever convert their cash into getting some assets. Rich and wealthy people accumulate assets. They're not fighting the sovereign citizenship game. They're not. They know all of this is true. But they operate from a different corporation anyway. You think Donald Trump is going around trying to claim his, what do you all call it, national? You said it's not sovereign. You think Donald Trump is thinking about discharging debt? No, Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump use debt. They use cash to get real assets. I think you all call it national. I don't want to mispronounce it because I'm not trying to be that, but I know what's going on. To pay a debt, you must have substance, gold, silver, land, or commodities. So what if they told you, okay, you can pay your debts, but what is your substance? What commodities do you have? So a bill to your straw man is an offer of his credit to you first. So why accept this offer? Discharge the straw man's debt in a mutual offset credit exemption. To do this, simply endorse your present straw man receive with your signature. Now, I've never tried this, right? If you tried this and it worked, whether you're watching this live on the replay, let me know. Have you ever discharged a debt or a bill or a statement just with your signature, right? And it's this maxim that says he who holds the gold pays the bills. You all, gold and silver is going to be used to reset this current financial system that we are experiencing. The mark of the beast. The mark, the name, the number. The mark or the name of the beast is a trademark or trade name of the all capital letter straw man that the government deals with directly instead of dealing with you. Your straw man's birth date on his or her birth certificate is the date with all your capital letter, the government created, trademark, and trade name was birthed like a vessel by the state and your port of entry. So when a woman is pregnant, if a midwife doesn't help her give birth at home, she's transported to the hospital and she is then taken inside the hospital through a dock, right, to see a doctor. And you are birthed, birth, like a ship is birthed on waters. You are birthed, birth, through waters of a woman. And you are docked with a doctor. So it's very, very similar in the Transatlantic Slave Act, where slaves were birthed or brought through waters to the United States. So your straw man birth date means that you are enticed to be surety for him or her, by which you are fooled into claiming his birth date to be yours, birthdate. This is why you cannot speak for yourself in court. You must ask a lawyer to speak for you instead because you have been told this lie. Welcome to the wonderful world of Oz. Now, the new money will be worth hundreds of cents on the dollar because we will have this financial system reset, similar to the Great Depression of 1929, 1933. In fact, many predict that it will be worse than the Great Depression. In this place, tangible substance of the American people, the wealth and productivity that belongs to them, pledged by the government, is collateral for the debt. This will be well documented of President Roosevelt and Congress and debates. The new money, right, the cash substitutes, is issued to the banks in return for government obligations, notes, and bankers' acceptance. So, for example, the new money will be worth 100 cents on the dollar. Right now, our current monetary system is worth 1 penny on the dollar. One. Now, for those who don't convert themselves, whether you're going to do nationality or you're not going to do an LLC, you're not going to do a foreign trust, you're not going to do some type of S or C corp, you're going to be responsible for the over what 30-some thousand dollars. I mean, not thousand, $1 trillion in debt that the United States is in. Like, who do you think is going to pay that debt back once this financial system reset happens? I agree. The United States citizens, the poor working class, because the rich already have their entity set up. They're not paying back. Listen, they're never going to tax the rich ever, because the rich knows what tax shelters to have, like real estate, the best tax bracket you can have. Let me pull up this video by Grant Cardone, and then I'm going to end. So the purpose of currency is to enable the exchange, the flow of commercial energy. The promissory note that represents your commercial energy, the signature of the promissory note creates the money. Your signature creates the money. You can create the money, but the question is, do you know how to use it and what to do with it? Because you are God's number one commodity. A lot of people say, well, sovereign citizenship is about getting from under government's law and getting under God's law. But, even God says, render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and render unto me what belongs to me. Even God says, give honor where honor is due. He never told us to try to get out of the taxation season. He just said, whatever is due. So you decide what tax bracket you're going to be on. And you, by if you are what you all call a national, I don't know, say it again for me, since it's not a sovereign citizen, or whether you decide you want to operate the S corp or C corp, right? You decide. Let me ask this real quick. I'm gonna show this. Is this person financially wealthy? Because I don't want to learn from anybody that want to be a pauper. I don't. The Bible says wealth and riches shall be in your house. Let me know. And I'm not talking about, I just want to know. Because I'm not, my vibration is not going down that low where I'm just thinking about being debt free. I'm thinking about being wealthy and using debt to get assets. All right, let's play this. Grant Cardone, I love what Grant said.
Trying to tax me.
So your goal is to pay zero taxes.
Dude, play the game. My goal is to reduce my tax bill to 0 or below every year. I don't feel bad about it. Anybody hates on me because I don't want to pay taxes, hate on me. I'm gonna figure out how not to pay these fools. On the other hand, I have $2 billion worth of real estate that I pay taxes on every year. That's 40 million in property taxes. I have 500 employees. I pay taxes on these people, right? We produce and buy a lot of things. I'm paying plenty of taxes. There's how many different taxes are there? Income taxes, state taxes, purchase taxes, vehicle taxes, capital gains tax, get sick taxes, die taxes,
estate tax,
argue taxes, estate taxes. I'm like, every time I look around, they're trying to tax me.
So your goal is to pay zero taxes.
Dude, play the game. My goal is to reduce my tax bill to 0 or below every year. I don't feel bad about it. Anybody hates on me because I don't want to pay taxes, hate on me. I'm gonna figure out how not to pay these fools. On the other hand, I have $2 billion worth of real estate that I pay taxes on every year. That's 40 million in property taxes. I have 500 employees. I pay taxes on these people, right? We produce and buy a lot of things. I'm paying plenty of taxes. There's how many different taxes are there? Income taxes, state taxes, purchase taxes, vehicle taxes, capital gains tax, get sick taxes, die taxes,
estate tax,
argue taxes, estate.
Two things in life are certain: death and taxes. So you have a bond, registration of live birth, your application for live birth, BERTH, assigned at a place at a dock for you to berth your vessel in your port of entry, and name and footprint, which is your birthmark, BERTH mark, forensic evidence of your arrival in the commercial public domain. The titles such as John or Jane in all caps creates a fiction and value. All vessels or dead people are titled in all caps. Speaking of death taxes, did you? All vessels, people, are dead people are titled in all caps. Your birth certificate is material evidence in the commercial domain that you exist. It is a prepaid credit exemption account. The one world government has always been here, it's always existed from the beginning of the world, right? Look at your checkbook. Your name is in all caps. Business corporation that the bank presumes to be you. The microprint signature line on a check is printed in words that says authorized user. So I didn't bring my check in front of me. I do have a check. Right? Benjamin Franklin said that quote too. Nothing in life is certain but death and taxes. JFK said the tax on capital gains directly affects investing decisions. You know, JFK was assassinated because he wanted to bring the silver standard back. Also, Abraham Lincoln, it wasn't about him wanting to free the slave. Abraham Lincoln wanted the greenbacks. They did not want sound money. They don't want sound money. They don't want people to learn about money. They don't want people to learn about mortgage interest rate. In fact, I read something today that told me this little simple thing I can do every day for 30 days will greatly change or reduce the amount of interest compounded on my mortgage on a daily basis. I'm going to do that for 30 days. And then when February comes, I will tell you all what it was and if it works. I want to see if it works first. Right. So this is why people provide credit, or you provide credit. Congress gives you an unlimited credit exemption that you can use to discharge the debt that you cannot pay with Federal Reserve notes, cash, not real money, money account of the United States that pays the debts. Congress permits you to use your personal credit exemption to pay charges that your Federal Reserve notes can only discharge. You all cash cannot pay, debt cannot pay out debt. This, that quote, it says, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. It can only discharge it. So your personal exemption, a person's corporation returns, right? Again, you can do it whatever way you see fit. I'm doing it this way. I'm converting my SSN into tax ID. So since 1933, you and your credit and the credit of all other Americans have been pledged as collateral for the debt of the corporate United States without your knowledge or consent. This is unlawful conversation, but legal and enforced until we take back our implied consent. A credit support and promissory notes, the private non-federal reserve that they have mistakenly called dollars. Perhaps you assume that the name on the tax statement that you have received at some point in time, or on your driver's license, or your telephone, or your power bill is yours. And so you respond to these commercial presentments as though they were yours. This is involuntary servitude. To make this involuntary servitude legal, the government provides us with a remedy. It doesn't matter that the remedy is hidden by legislation, and it makes it difficult to access and apply. under House Act Joining Rule 192 passed by Congress 77 years ago. That's the 777 Divine Transition. On June 5th, 1933, it is public policy not to pay debts, as unbelievable as this may seem. Now, I have not looked this up for myself. I'm reading from this book right now, but I will go back and read this and do my due diligence. So, no one can compel anyone to pay a debt with silver or gold or any specific monetary instrument on his demand. Once a debt is created, its one's liability to pay can only be discharged by tendering it to someone else or back upon its creator to cancel the charge. When the advent of bankruptcy, because the United States went bankrupt again in 1933, we're about to go bankrupt again this year. All debts can be discharged by one promise to pay. With legitimate money of account, United States is restored by us. Like, why do you all think 9/11 happened? The United States was broke then. And so the Twin Towers were the buildings where they kept all of the bonds, all the certificate. And it just so happened to just, have that fortunate event. And underneath, buried under the rubble of the Twin Towers, was physical silver and gold, real money. I've always questioned why. I mean, I know the United States was broke and they needed that gold and silver and they needed those records gone. Yeah, Bidder 7 and Flight Plane 7. But why did they need the gold and silver? Was it protect for other countries? Was it to pay to other countries? Real tender, real money? Americans today are living under the most slave system ever conducted in the world. We are potential prisoners right now because we don't understand how the business of business works on our bodies and our minds. Basically, the first order of law is called natural law. As children of God, we are under natural law. This process removed us from natural law and placed us in artificial law. And that process took place when we were born. Your artificial mirror image corporate entity Strawman was created at birth through the birth of certificate in which your mother was listed as the informant when she gave you over to the state, just like the slaves was given over. This evidence by all of your capital letters name. At this point, the certificate of a live birth upon which your birth certificate is based was sent to Washington, D.C., where a bond was attached. The bond is for a significant amount of money. Through Social Security, you are entered into, you all help me pronounce, well, you can't help me pronounce it, but Quatrust, is it C-Stu Quatrust? By your Social Security card. On the back of your Social Security card are 9 digits, 1 letter, and 8 numbers in red. 9. You know, 9 is the highest number that there is. When you multiply 9 by any number, it equals come back to itself. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 8 plus 1 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 7 plus 2 is 9. Everybody's date of birth, no matter when you was born, we're all equal to the number 9. I did that on some live streams, and I have it written on the board. Someone was born May 22nd, 1967. I showed them how in my data, I don't care, all of us is going to equal to the number 9. Right? 6 times 9 is 54. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 times 7 is 63. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 times 10 is 90, right? 9 plus 0 is 9. So it is deemed to be abandoned property because you have not claimed it. It indicates your priority exemption, prepaid, intellectual property that has been abandoned. You haven't claimed it because you didn't know that it existed. And through corporation, you are using your priority exemption. Well, and that corporations are using your priority exemption number to access it. This is how the whole system is set up. Look at your driver's license, your birth certificate. the checks in your checkbook, any commercial document, the printed name is not you. The flesh and blood man or woman, it is an artificial created corporate entity known as the Strawman. And until you take commercial control of the Strawman, it is attached to you. That is your name in all capital letters. The state has total control of it instead. Unfortunately, with the prison system as it is now, blacks have been set up to be permanent underclass, to be railroaded through the prison system so that bonds can be used on a regular basis. Again, United States is not a country. The United States is a corporation. We need to understand these concepts and see them as they really are. USA, United States, or US means a federal corporation. It is well stated that the United States is a corporation originally incorporated February 22nd, 1871. Under the name of District of Columbia, the United States was reorganized in bankruptcy by the 14th Amendment, June 11th, there goes those two ones, 1878. The United States is in bankruptcy organization. Originally, the United States consisted of 10 square miles of Washington, D.C., and through contracts, it is contracted with different states to expand the name to the rest of the states, plus territory, force, and arsenals. The significance of this is that it is a corporation of the United States that has no more authority to implement the laws against we the people than does a McDonald's corporation. Except for one thing, the contracts we sign as surety for our straw man with the creditor bankers and corporate United States. These contracts which bind us together with bankers in the United States are not contracts with us, but we are contracts between the bankers and the corporate United States with artificial entity person straw man, which appears to be us and is not spelled with all capital letters. Right? And so what did we say the straw man? What did the straw man? Was it no. The lion wanted courage in the Wizard of Oz. I think the straw man, was it a heart? I can Google in a few minutes. I'm closing with this. In 1933, the whole American economy collapsed. People, this is about to happen right now, this year. When President Franklin Roosevelt instituted his New Deal, he was sold to us as the resurrection of the country back from the bankruptcy by heroic saving of the day. But he sold the country into bankruptcy instead. The United States has gone bankrupt as a country beginning at the Civil War in 1859. Individual bankruptcy exists for 7 years, but a corporate bankruptcy exists for 70 years. So the plan had to be renewed in 1929. This was the whole point of President Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, and his New Deal as soon as he got power. Now we take 1929 and we add 70 years is 19, and I told you about 9, the highest power number that there is, 1999. This is 2 years prior to 9/11. The real New Deal was a raw deal for the American people. The Constitution says that only gold is lawful money, so removing gold from circulation became illegal government in fact. They replaced gold with cash, also known as Federal Reserve notes, and to protect themselves in case the people woke up to see that they were using unconstitutional money, they devised House Joint Resolution 192 bond, which made it illegal for people to own real money, which was gold. Cash is just instruments of debt. They are not backed by anything. It's not backed by the petrodollar anymore, people. That's why Saudi Arabia, BRICS, India, Russia, China have joined the BRICS nation, right? And it's going to be done away with. Some people are just going to get out of debt anyway because this financial system is about to reset. In fact, they have a new credit scoring system that started this year, and it's called FICO 10T. The new credit scoring system has to be in alignment and collaboration with our new digital monetary system. So most people are in debt, so they're just recycling debt. You can owe Ford, for example, and Ford sells the debt to an attorney for 10 cents on the dollar. Or maybe if you have a collection, they just sell your debt for 10 cents on the dollar, and the attorney comes and harass you, and they may take you to court. And in court, anybody make a claim that you have to make an affidavit for sworn testimony. So they are putting your straw man. Yeah, I'm done with these cuspids. I'm not cussip. I mean, I'm not gonna go over that number. Um, but I'm gonna say this, or read this rather. When you sign your driver's license, it is a contract. You have to sign your driver's license and social security card. It is a contract that puts you in bondage because you don't understand it. It is an adhesion contract. Whenever you sign your name starting today, just put agent after your signature. That way you are not liable for the straw man. You are just the agent for the straw man. Being free is not free and it's not easy. So, even though you might have personal debt, every United States citizen, when his financial system reset happens, is going to be responsible for about $40 trillion in debt. If you don't take yours, I don't care if you're doing a national citizenship. I'm doing it through other corporations, through a foreign trust, right? Um, and so I did enjoy the conversation and the engagement. And the more I study this, it's something I pursue. But if it's going to stop me from having businesses and real estate and all of that and just being debt free, I'm not interested at all. I'm not interested in all. So I will rewatch this live stream and definitely look at the people you recommended for me. I know the truth, right? I'm just doing it a different route. And so the straw man and the wisdom of Oz. Oh my God. Why didn't I know this? I should have knew this one. He's looking for a brain. Looking for a brain to think. I got a national passport. Thank you. No, I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard of that at all. The straw man was looking for a brain. Now, the mortgage paying off, if you just want a quicker way to get out of debt and to use the system against itself and to have the nicer things in life at the same time, I would suggest you go to my website, milliemoves.com, and look at least having the 475 tax deductions of a home-based business and getting out of high federal taxation on your paycheck. That's something that can be done within days and not years. Even though it's a bloodbath today, I don't call it a bloodbath. I call these cryptos on sale today. If you are a consumer that appreciates sales on your shoes or clothes or any other thing, you should appreciate this sale. Bitcoin just took a 5% dip. The government did not, they're saying the Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF may not get approved, right? And so took a turn, but I mean, it's not a crash, it's a dip. And, one thing that I saw today, I was on Fidelity website, and this is for people that may suggest that crypto is a scam. You can do crypto trading and investing through Fidelity. Like big firms and organizations like this don't do scams like that. If these are scams, if this is not going to be our new financial system. My next live stream, we are going to talk about the things. We got one thing in green on here. The 1988 economists that gave the economist cover that show that we are moving to a new world financial economic system. So we got 1988 from 2023. Let's see. What's that? 35 years. 35 years ago, the double 88. And I'm going to break this down with you all. But this is Fidelity. I saw this on the website. They're trading. People, listen, most people may can get out of debt just when this financial system reset. Because we're going to be on the new financial system reset. My thing is, don't live like a pauper. Don't be in poverty. Whatever you do, it takes money to do it. And I promise you, you're still going to have some form of taxes. You're not going to get out the government of taxation. Even if you don't have a mortgage, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. You're going to lose what you have. And even if you can erase that vehicle debt that you got, at some point that vehicle is going to get old and you might have to get a new one. So I want you to think holistic. I want you to see the big picture in all of this. Crypto is the new currency system. And I had to educate you about the old to reveal the truth. As the Bible says, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. But you can, once you know how to play the game, also you can, under millimoves.com, not only will that help you increase your paycheck, it'll help you develop your own foreign trust. So if you want to buy a house, you can start buying it under a foreign trust, under a different entity. So this is ways into crypto, find the right fit, train your brain. As a straw man was looking for a brain. And this famous quote by John D. Rockefeller, you know, him, J.P. Morgan, Henry Ford, Dale Carnegie. But that's why you have Carnegie Hall and many of these colleges and universities. They funded the educational system because they didn't want you to learn about this. They didn't want you to learn about, you know, what if you had a math class where you can learn the difference between the compounding interest on the mortgage and the simple interest and revolving credit on a credit card, where you can continuously liquidate. What if you were taught in schools to get assets and to use your credit, not just to get a house or a car, but to be a landlord or to use vehicles and rent them out to make money? So I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. I want a nation of workers. John D. Rockefeller. The straw man was looking for a brain. Schools are from bell to bell. You get 25 minutes to eat lunch. You have to walk on a certain hallway. You have to use much of your left brain, not your right brain, not your creative brain that it takes to be an entrepreneur. I showed you all this. No payment down. You probably say, well, Queen, what does that have to do with? Why would they have a CD about using, thinking, and acting creatively, and setting goals and making plans and managing your time in a real estate? Because you have to be as many different creative ways to finance. You know, I'm from Mississippi, from the South. And one of the old sayings is, it's more than one way to skin a cat. And when I got older, I asked my grandmother, like, I said, who skins a cat? Why do you all say that? Who skins a cat? I've never seen a skinned cat. And she said, yes. Well, I just thought about something, but I'm not going to say that. But anyway, she said, well, you eat my possum, don't you? My grandma cooked possum. Yeah, if you're not from the South, you might not, know that. But this is Get Ready for World Currency 1988, Rothschild Magazine, The Rise of the Phoenix. You know, Phoenix, they set themselves on fire when they die. And that's United States cash. On fire. This is the Phoenix coin, 2018. You know, I recognize this today. I used to think that gold chain represent gold. And then I thought about it. I said, no, that represents chain link, which is a crypto. That's chain link. This is the Cosmos symbol. Some people think it's XLM. And they think the Phoenix represents XRP. But this is cosmos to me. 2018, I asked people, this is on the gold. Now, this gold coin does represent the physical gold. But that 2018, I was asking on my last live stream what happened after 2018. And then we had C19. So, people, this is already here. It's just a matter of time when the switch is going to be flipped. Now, today they did not approve a Bitcoin ETF. This is my thoughts on it. If a Bitcoin ETF, right? If a Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF is approved before January 19th, it was not approved today, then we will see a government shutdown because they're going to have time and have federal workers and everything shut down, right? The crypto lady back in the day took a lot from people too. I have no idea what you're talking about. Can't anybody take your crypto unless you don't store it? So Bernie Madoff made millions. Well, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. Don't get into it. I'm not begging you. I'm just, look, you don't have to accept what I see. Why are you on my channel though? And what do you think they use cash for? See, the straw man was looking for a brain, as if cash has been used for purity all the time. Much drug deals and child trafficking deals and people killed on street corners over and on social media for flashing cash. Now you all see why straw man was looking for a brain. People don't think. They don't think. Who said this quote? Was it Henry Ford? Thinking is the hardest thing there is. That's why most people seldom do it. Thinking is hard work. You got to sit, be still, and isolate, and close your mouth and open your mind. But people want to talk more than they listen. I tell little kids this all the time. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So BRICS nations to grow as Saudi Arabia, Iran, UAE, Egypt, Ethiopia join ranks. Argentina hasn't joined yet, but emerging nations set to double. South Africa, they're not exchanging their commodities, their gold, their silver, their agriculture, their produce. They're not exchanging it for the United States dollar anymore. So if these other countries don't want the dollar, it's going to have to be a new world currency system where each country has its own digital currency. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm logging off. I was just up late reading that book and I just had to get it out last night. Again, I'm going to do another live stream. I did live streams breaking down the Wizard of Oz and how that Oz and ounces equals to gold and silver, the golden brick road, the monetary system. The straw man represents, your bond under your birth certificate, Social Security. Looking for a heart, looking for a brain, courage. Some people don't have the courage to change. They're afraid of change. But if you are afraid of change, change is going to happen anyway. A change is going to come. In fact, the more things change, the more they remain the same. Meaning that it's the same thing, just a different face on it. The Spanish flu happened then before the Great Depression. The Spanish flu just happened. And C19 is going to be one of the reasons. And then World War II happened. They canceled our debt. Now World War III is about to happen. Because you think the United States is just going to sit back and let these countries dump its dollars and not? Nah. The United States they're going to fight. They're not going to take this line down. But it's going to happen. And they can't outpower all of those countries together. For the first time, our military cannot back this because it's too many countries together. We're not the dominary. As some people would say, Babylon the Great is falling. And the United States have done some things to get these other countries. Since he talk about what Bitcoin is used for to accept this. They've done some things. I won't even get into that in Obama and during his, presidency and some of Bin Laden and all this stuff that happened. Because Saudi Arabia didn't want to accept our cash for its oil anymore. And now you're going to talk about 9/11. All right, you all. So good night. Good night. God bless. Queen out. Let's get ready for the greatest financial system reset of all times. And give yourself credit. I don't care if you want to do by claiming your national citizenship, whatever it's called, nationality, or if you just want to incorporate to LLC or S Corp, go to my website, millermoves.com. Reach out to me and at least put your Social Security under the auspice of a home-based business and get out of these taxes that regular people gonna pay. Because when this reset happens, people that's not in a different corporation and under their social, everyday working class, you're gonna have to pay back that national debt. Yeah, which means you're gonna see inflation and higher taxes. So are you prepared? And is your money making compound interest for you? Are you converting your money into this new financial system? It's like getting into Amazon, Apple, Google before we knew the impact that they would have in this in the third industrial revolution. Now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. Mic drop. As Michael Jordan said, you miss all of the shots you don't take. As I put on it, you miss all of the investing gains you don't make. Don't miss out on a great opportunity. Every opportunity you don't take action on, you miss out on. And this time, missing out may cause you years and generation of financial hell, just like the servant in Matthew 25. He was cast into where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth and out of darkness because he did not put his money to work. And then advance his money. Then take action.